Hey there YouTube, welcome to the last part of the Bad Beer Trilogy. Today I'm going to review Extra Gold Lager from the Coors Brewing Company. Now, this stuff is absurdly cheap. It was like $6 for the 12 pack, and it actually has this big thing on the front which is interesting. Brewing Extra Gold Lager requires uncommon patience. Patience in the slow aging of the roasted malts. Patience to take the 3 extra brewing steps needed to craft every batch. This added time and effort yields an exceptional refined lager. Well, that's a big statement. And it says hops, barley, slow brewed on the front. It says slow brewed lager, blah blah blah. ABV on this is 5%, I think. And this is let's find out what this is all about. Try to bring it for the crack there. There we go. Hope I got that on camera. And we'll bring it in for the pour. And right away, one of the first things I can notice from this is the color. This is the darkest of the 3 that I've done in a row. It's darker than the natural light was in the summer. The head, not so much there. Really a whole lot of nothing there. But a little bit, maybe, I don't know, half a finger or so. But the color is dark. It's a lot darker than the Colt was. It's a lot darker than the natural ice was. ABV is close to what those are. It's a little less. Like I said, 625 at 12. We'll see what we have here. We have a smell. You know, I don't really get anything from that smell. Maybe a little maltiness, but that's really about it. I don't get any hops. I don't really, but yeah, you know, I don't smell real. It doesn't smell real grainy. It doesn't smell like corn or anything. It doesn't smell as cheap as the other ones did. It just smells like kind of nothingness. It's not something that's grabbing me and saying, hey, this is awesome. So I don't know. I don't know. Let's have a taste and find out. Right away, when you taste it, it tastes a lot more full-bodied than the other 2 did. By far. It has a much heavier mouthfeel than the other 2 did. The aftertaste is a little tiny bit of bitterness, but it's not really a nasty bitterness. And it looks like we might even get some lacing out of this. Like I said, this is made by the Coors. This is like Coors' answers to the Natural Ice and Milwaukee's Best and those type of things, the Colt 45s and stuff. Let's have another taste. Yeah, look at that. We're actually getting lacing, which is really wild. And you know what? There's nothing bad about this. It's not great, but it's not bad at all. It has a slight hint of that weird bitterness in the end, but it's not as bitter, and it doesn't taste as funky as the other 2 did on that aftertaste. Now with these cheaper beers, I've noticed that the last sip is always the worst. So we're going to get to that. Carbonation feels good in the mouth. As far as taste goes, it's similar to something you'd get in like a Miller Lite or something. It's not, there's nothing gut-wrenching or really foul about it. I mean, this, already I'm thinking that this is going to be the beer of the 3 that I would, if I had to recommend. Someone put a gun to my head and say, hey, I got to buy beer, it's got to be cheap, what do you recommend? So far, this is what it's going to be. Extra Gold Lager. It's very fascinating. $6.25 for a 12 pack. That's cheaper by like $2 than the Natural Ice was at the store. Let's do it again. Now look, good, some pretty awesome lacing there. You know, the one thing I noticed about this too is, let me see if that's just not, yeah, it's a tad bit hazy as well. It doesn't look like it's been filtered as much as the other two. You know, obviously the color's darker, but there is a haziness to it, which is interesting. I don't know if that's extra funk they're leaving in there to give, you know, poor ingredients a masking of maybe a little bit of better taste. But honestly, guys, this is the best one of the trilogy. I mean, this is it. Let's have another taste. Last sip. Little bit of funkiness, but not nearly as funky. And again, look at the lacing. That's wild. For such a cheap beer, this is going to be the best one. Extra gold lager, brewed from Coors. This is it. Like I said, it's cheap. I think it's the cheapest out of the trilogy, and it's also the best out of the trilogy. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to give this right where I gave Miller Lite when I did Miller Lite a while ago. I'm just going to go ahead and give this a C. There's nothing bad about it. This is just an average beer, and for the price, you can't beat it. Now, if you're one of those guys, and you've been watching my reviews, and maybe you got to go venture out into the cheap stuff, that's the one. Extra gold. Don't even think twice about it. Don't do the Colt 45. Don't do the natural ice. Do this. This is better, and I'm really surprised by it. Again, it's not great, but I am really surprised. So I'll give it a straight C. Nothing bad about it. Nothing great about it. I was really thinking with all this writing and this weird looking can, I was really thinking that this was going to be just awful, and it's not. So if you're up against the wall and you want to get drunk, or if you just want to have one beer after work or something and you don't mind just an average beer, that's what I would recommend. $6.25, that's it. So that concludes the trilogy, and I will be very glad to get back to drinking some craft brew when this is over, now that it's done. Within the next week, I might upload a little preview video because I just went beer shopping, and I talk about some beers I'll be doing, and then we're going to get to them. So stay tuned. Subscribe if you want. Leave a comment. I always like hearing from you guys. Take care. Thanks for the love. Peace.